In order to give structure to our morphology, we'll make use of something called a tree. Now, linguists often use trees to put structure into language. This is most common within syntax, which is how we put together the grammatical structure of a sentence or phrase from the different words, or more abstractly, different parts of speech. Let's look at this tree here on our right. A tree consists of nodes which have children. At the very top here, this S node represents the whole sentence. Everything beneath it in this tree is part of the sentence. The little bear saw the fine fat trout in the brook. All of this connects to and is underneath the S node, and so is part of the sentence. If we look down here at this N at the far right, the only thing beneath it is brook. N represents noun, so that tells us that brook is a noun. Moving up, this NP, a noun phrase, represents the brook. And this here, a prepositional phrase, consists of in the brook. Our sentence consists of a noun phrase, NP, and a verb phrase, VP. That's our subject and our object. It's worth noting that this is a very simplified syntax tree. This is not how we would break down this sentence making use of modern syntactic principles. Still, the idea is perfect for showing us how a tree will work. Now, let's think about using trees in morphology. First, let's consider the word independently. We can break this down using our old method into 5 different morphemes. In, which means not here rather than in or on. D, which means down or from. Pend, which means hang. Ent, which is an adjective ending. And li, which is an adverb ending. When we put this all together, we get that independently means in a way that does not hang from or upon anything else, or even better, in a way that does not depend on anything else. That's pretty close to the definition. Now let's think about this using trees. If we look at this tree on the right, we can see that we have different layers here. We can see how the word is built at each step, and we can see the part of speech that results in each step. If we start with the verb depend here, and we add the affix ent, we get dependent, an adjective. Adding the prefix into that gives us independent, an adjective. Finally, we can add the suffix ly here to produce an adverb. Now, this seems pretty good. This gives us more structure, and we can have a sense of how the brain might put together a larger word like independently from these different pieces. Note that we're starting here with depend instead of 2 morphemes, just to make this a little easier to follow. In general with this approach, different affixes, that is, prefixes and suffixes, will attach to certain parts of speech and not others. Further, these combinations will produce specific certain parts of speech. For depend, we can see that de plus a verbal root like pend will give us a verb, depend. Adding ent as a suffix to a verb gives us an adjective. Adding in as a prefix to an adjective gives us another adjective. And adding ly to the end of an adjective gives us an adverb. You're probably familiar with that rule already. We now have more structure and we understand how the word is built. In the next set of videos, we'll examine some of the implications of this approach to morphology.